Wait a minute. I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot to mention. And I know Garwin would get mad at me not mentioning, so I don't mean to just talk about people in my generation who passed away. But yeah, I just saw on legacy.com. I know when I saw in the thumbnail, I was like, who is him? He looked familiar. But I didn't know, yeah, the guy who made the song Patches. And I definitely know the song. I be stroking. I recall, the patches. Yeah, so, it's only being that he's a R&B legend, R&B soul blues legend, Carter, Clarence Carter, I'm sorry, U.S. soul star who had hit with Patches and More dies at age 90. This is from TheGuardian.com. Singer-songwriter and former husband of Candy Staten. Whoa, for real? They were married? The woman who made Young Hearts Run Free? They were married? I did not know that. Singer and former husband of Candy Stanton was blind from birth, and he had further hits, including Slip Away and Backdoor Santa. I didn't even know they were married. The thing is, I'm tripping because I was like, I just seen legacy.com. I forgot to mention this to that in talking about Rob Bass and Easy Rock. So I had to come back real quick because I totally forgot. Yeah, Clarence Carter. He's a U.S. soul singer who had numerous hits, including the transatlantic 1970 smash Patches, has died age 90. Let me tell you, I didn't even know he was still alive. I thought he had already passed away. I did not know he was still alive. His management company confirmed his death to The Guardian, saying he died on Wednesday following complications with pneumonia. Carter was born in Montgomery, Alabama in 1936 and was blind from birth. His music career began with the duo Clarence and Calvin, later the C&C Boys, who recorded a number of hits during the early 60s. When his partner Calvin Scott, who was also blind, was injured in a car accident, Carter went solo and had his first R&B chart hit in 1967 with the self-penned Tell Daddy. It inspired Etta James to write a cover version and repost Tell Mama, which reached the U.S. top 30. In 1968, he released arguably his most enduring track, Slip Away, now with more than 45 million plays on Spotify. 45 million, that means, plays on Spotify. The mournful yet steadily strutting ballad with Carter pleading with the woman to cheat on her partner with him reached number 2 on the R&B chart, and he crossed over in the U.S. pop chart for the first time, reaching number 6. The song has since been used in numerous film soundtracks, including The Commitments, Almost Famous, and Licorice Pizza. That year also brought another hit song, Too Weak to Fight, and the ribald Backdoor Santa. I ain't like old Saint Nick. He don't come but once a year. Goodness. Which has endured an offbeat Christmas classic and was sampled in another Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 1968, also the year he met future soul music legend Candy Stanton, who became one of his backing singers before they married in 1970. I didn't know they were married, but I'm kind of young. Um, but yeah, there's an article here. I mainly remember the song "Stroke It," and that song, goodness, I mean, stroke it to the east. Yeah, before there was the NWA and Too Short, and you had them blues songs. Yeah, and this was one of them dirty. Well, you know, come to find out, she this was nothing compared to some of them songs shape and go even further back. But yeah, he would have these songs with these kind of risque lyrics, them devilish blues songs, the ones that be about cheating and just yeah. But I remember, stroke it to the east, I stroke it to the west, what stroke it to the woman that he loved the best. I didn't know this brother was still alive. I did not know. I thought he had. Who was that? Was it Fats Domino? Somebody a couple of years ago and passed away. I was like, what? I had no. Yeah. Now this is one of them cases. In the case of Rob Bass, I would not have expected to have passed this soon. Whereas this is one of them cases where I actually thought that he was still alive. I thought that he had already passed. I mean, it's good that he didn't. Of course, it's death is always sad and tragic, no matter the age. But well, at least we can say he lived to be 90. But I seriously thought I'd already passed. So when I'm like, I saw this on Legacy.com channel, like Clarence Carter, like what? He was still alive? Yeah, because But obviously his songs have lived on. I guess they becoming popular. Some of his songs becoming popular again through social media and and pop culture and everything. Like what's that lady? Pretty little, how some of these songs are becoming popular once again through video games and shorts and TikTok shorts and stuff. And yeah, so I guess there's been kind of revival also with him. I just remember the blues songs, Clarence Carter with the kind of risque lyrics, sexual lyrics and stuff. And that's why and not to disrespect, all the blues music, being that that's the foundation of a lot of American music, but and mainstream music, period. Going back, a lot of it going back to the blues. But oh boy, you did have a lot of them songs. Why they always talking about saying about cheating? Something, goodness. Yeah, cheating in the next room. No, that was who is that? Oh gosh, I'm like walking on eggshells. I'm telling you, I'm still kind of scared though, Azor. Still kind of scared. Like I feel like I'm supposed to change the channel name or something. But I had to come up in here and talk about Survivor though. I definitely and the Michael Jackson. That's what really, because I was gonna keep this channel on hiding. Because I was like, they ain't gonna take this channel now. Not this channel. Maybe y'all, just play it safe and just totally just talk about the Bible, what I'm supposed to be talking about. But yeah, after the Michael Jackson movie, which my husband, I did not want to see, but he wanted to see it with me. So yeah, and I knew I'd be back talking about Survivor though. I knew I would have to come back. Uh, you dragging me. Okay, sure, bring it. Oh gosh. You can't know what I'm saying. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I'm sorry. Because I ain't the only one who had these issues. I'm just shocked not more people are talking about with the whole thing with John Bronco though. I do hear some black folks talking about they don't like the depiction of, how they're doing with making Joe Jackson the daddy, almost like it's a mockery of black fatherhood. But I'm surprised nobody's going further and talking about how Joe Bronco is being glorified. But it's just it's quite a few things I have an issue with, you know. No, I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to just sing it and dance. I'm not just going, oh, deja vu memories. No, and even with the memories, that wasn't good enough for me because they skipped over that whole era, that funky era, Michael Jackson. The first era of my memory. I expect that they were going to, go into the childhood, the early, the first hits. That's expected. They have to. But they totally also kind of skipped over that era of my first memories is when Michael Jackson was with the Jacksons. When it wasn't the Jackson 5, but it was the Jacksons. And that to me, that was one of that era from that period to the Off the Wall. Of course, the 80s, me being an 80s kid and all, of course, but I'm just saying, when it comes to music, plus those were my first memories. See, this is now. See, we ain't gonna go into it, Zor, because no, he was imperfect. Yeah, of course there were things with Joe, but no, to make him like the villain, I know, I know what they doing. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's like it's totally. I don't like that. I'm sorry, and I'm disappointed that the siblings have even allowed that. I'm very disappointed. We didn't trip over the Jackson family series that aired in '93. We expected, you know what I'm saying? No, we didn't totally know certain things with Joe Jackson, because they didn't really open up like that before that time. But still, we accepted because, but we knew what was up. We knew what was up, especially with black fathers. That was a man of the GI generation. What the heck? But no, the way they did that now, and even with the way that actor, Yeah, I mean, I ain't mad at the actor, but nah, I don't like that. I wasn't feeling that. No. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure if they do, yeah, there's a lot they didn't bring up on Elvis either, did they? A lot on Elvis. Did they bring up him being with 12-year-olds and slumber parties? No. Getting tired of this. Yeah, it's just so much. I know, I'm telling you, Michael would not have approved, just like he didn't approve with how Martin Bashir did that documentary. He only wanted to hear, the bad things that he said about his dad. Remember, he followed up. Michael would not have approved of that. He wouldn't approve of that. Maybe the Michael Jackson in 1987, or I'll say 1984, Michael Jackson may have been okay with that. But the Michael Jackson from the 2000s on, no, he had a whole new awareness and consciousness. And he had forgave his father, and he had a better understanding. And you don't always have to agree with what people do to understand. Of course, there are certain things that I cannot and will not excuse. But in a way, it's kind of like even taking a jab at Black father. It's so much. See, it was stuff, man. You gotta understand. I was kind of spoiling the new movie for my husband. I had to try to keep my composure. I really did, especially in the setting. Like, it's just, oh goodness. And we gotta show you. At least with the family movie, they had him in the room. Tito getting the whooping. And we was kind of, my family, I'm not gonna lie, we was kind of laughing. I'm not saying that abuse is funny, but being that we had our ass whooped, it was kind of like that scene, Good Times, where now we want you to see Michael bent over we want you to see the intensity. Kind of like what they were doing with that Passion of the Christ movie. Yeah. They want you to really see the details. I didn't even watch that. I did not watch that. But I remember my friend went to see that with the Passion of the Christ. And like, you gotta really question. You really think that this is something? Yeah, of course. There are details we're told in the Bible, but I don't know. Just I know when they're trying to certain emotions they're trying to trigger and not for the right reasons. You know what I mean? But let me go and get out of here. And I knew it would be not appropriate for me to talk about just Rob Bass and not also mention soul blues legend Clarence Carter. He lived to be 90 years old. Lived to be 90 years old. I did not know he was still alive. But I just remember them songs. Those were the songs back when I was younger, had me, ooh, when I realized what they talking about. But who knew? Before the NWAs and Too Shorts, and you had some of them blues songs. But then I find out that going further back to like the 1930s and 40s, I didn't even know that they used curse words and profanity and slang like that. Shave them dry. But that should not be the focus. He was still a great musician. Um, so I just, I was shocked because with Rob Bass, of course, I'm sad. That's more of my generation. And also, way too young, in my opinion, and the know that he passed of cancer. Whereas with Clarence Carter, like I said, I was like, oh, wow, I didn't know he was still alive. But it's still sad, though. It's still, so, may his loved ones be comforted. So I will get back with y'all later. Once again, Shabbat Shalom. Enjoy your Sabbath. Make sure that you get a Sabbath lesson in. And perhaps on my other channel, I'll go a little more into, where my mind, where I'm kind of, I don't know, because I'm thinking about changing. Do I change my channel name, or what do I do with YouTube? That is. And yeah. So I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and love, family.